Hey everybody, Jonathan Broadbent here with a quick take for UnWoke. This is not a full-length episode, but something occurred to me last week that I wanted to get out in front of you and share because I think it's quick, easy, succinct, and understandable to most anybody. We've been talking a lot about UnWoke, what it is, and the far left globalist mega bank sort of influence in the world of finance for some years now. And it was actually at a lunch last week. I was at a lunch sitting next to somebody who brought up investments and woke and being against things like some of the far left stuff that we're seeing happening in corporate America. And this person did not want to be invested in that stuff. And so asked me a few questions. And all of a sudden, the light bulb went on. And I thought of the following way to describe it. We all know enough, at least, about real estate to think in terms of the fundamental basics of a real estate purchase. This isn't an analogy, by the way. So, in real estate, if you are looking for yourself or work with a realtor, there are certain basic things that you're going to look for. You're going to look at the foundation of the house. You're going to look for things like the age of the appliances, how old the roof is, the proximity to certain forms of transportation, if you want those things. And really, you're just looking at the structure and basic foundation. And that's just age old, simple wisdom. It's easy to understand. That's how realtors work. If you've ever purchased a house or even just watched a movie where somebody is interacting with a realtor and trying to find the right house for themselves. And that makes sense. But imagine, if you will, all of a sudden, all realtors suddenly decided overnight that they were going to change everything about the way they speak and suddenly start telling people when showing houses, this one has a really great feng shui feel to it. And the vibe is so great that it really will resonate with your sense of purpose and self. And you will feel enabled if you live in this area because in this house, the positive resonance of the vibrational fields, and it just went on like that. Just imagine, if you will. I know it sounds sort of bizarre and nonsensical, and it's the point to it. That is actually what has happened to the world of finance. So I talk to people, as you've heard me say before, I've been making phone calls for years now, at least 2 years, to financial friends of mine all across the whole spectrum of the world of finance, all across the country. In fact, including a couple of global friends of mine that work elsewhere in the world of finance outside of the United States. And the sense is exactly the same. None of it makes any sense. It is true that thankfully, finally, we've got some folks like the Secretary of State of the state of Indiana. We've got, I think, 21 now state attorneys general. There is American Airlines Pilots Union and New York City Workers Union are suing for the use of ESG and things like it. But at the end of the day, we have to go back to the beginning and document every piece of conversation everybody has had with any financial professional who has encouraged this stuff, because the lawsuits are starting to drop. That's the analogy. I hope that you run with that, share it with other people, point back to this video or do one like it yourself if you work in finance. Let's get the message out. We need to get back to sanity in the world of finance, and that is fundamentals. It literally is. That's how we refer to the basic analysis of the pros and cons and the merits of possible investments. It's called fundamentals. The fundamentals are broken right now because some really bad actors have hijacked the entire conversation and turned it into this woke-a-doodle, feel-good, virtue signaling nonsense called ESG, which stands for environmental, social, and governance, and critical race theory disguised as diversity, equity, and inclusion. And there are more, it's all Green New Deal and stuff. It's bad. It's not even defined clearly. And that's why the lawsuits are starting. So I hope that analogy makes sense. Let's run.